Tonight on 7 News, the Lewis County Fair wraps up this weekend with a demolition derby and one traveler who came all the way from Rhode Island for a taste of taffy. Plus, raising money for rides, more than 100 marksmen make their way to the Carthage Rod and Gun Club, all for a good cause. And popping up in Public Square, North Country artists display their works for the first time in a summer series of showings here in the city. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good evening, I'm Zach Grady. Brendan Straub is off this weekend. Nearly 120 million Americans are under heat alerts as weeks of record-breaking temperatures stretch on. Dangerously hot weather continues to affect much of the country, along with the threat of severe storms in certain areas. CBS News correspondent Kris reports from Miami.
There is no relief in sight from the brutal heat. This relentless and stifling heat wave has more than 110 million people under excessive heat warnings and advisories. In Georgia, outdoor workers are trying to keep cool.
What I tell them is just drink plenty of water, take shade if you have to.
In California, firefighters are struggling to handle the temperatures.
So we're wearing that same gear, to keep us safe. But yet now we're dealing with these temperatures, these outside temperatures.
In fact, it's so hot
now is at 165
that the pavement is sending some to the burn unit.
They're there for any longer than you flinching back. Your skin's going to start being damaged by that.
Phoenix topped 110 degrees for the 22nd straight day. In South Florida, activists for farm workers are pushing changes in the law after a 29-year-old died while working in the brutal heat.
We need water, we need shade, we need breaks.
The Northeast is dealing with the aftermath of heavy rainstorms. Flooding and thunderstorms halted play between the Red Sox and Mets at Fenway Park in Boston Friday night. And in Pennsylvania, the body of a 2-year-old swept away by flash flooding was recovered. Her 9-month-old sibling is still missing. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
We'll head to the Weather Center now. Kris, we see the extreme weather across the country. What are we seeing here in the North Country over the weekend?
Well, we're keeping it quiet over the weekend here. Not really a whole lot going on. It was a quiet day today. It's a quiet night. And guess what? It's going to be quiet tomorrow as well. So as far as that northeast satellite and radar, you can see really not a whole lot going on. Not much to talk about for us here across the North Country. First Weather is brought to you by Doors Plus in Adams Center. Here closer at home, you can see, keeping it clear. It's a nice clear night out there. Lows will be dropping down into the 60s. By tomorrow morning, though, we'll be warming on up, eventually getting into the lower 80s. A lot of sunshine in store for us on our Sunday, so we're going to be putting the sun in Sunday. But we do have the chance for a few showers for some locations tomorrow as well. So I'll have details on that coming up in just a few. Zach?
Thanks, Kris. From twisted metal to twisting taffy, 7 News reporter Chad Charette checked out the demolition derby and spoke with someone making their first trip back in nearly a half a century, all at the last day of the Lewis County Fair.
A week's worth of festivities came to a close Saturday as the sun shined down on the Lewis County Fair.
It was wonderful. We had perfect weather. We had a little bit of rain yesterday, but it was midday, 15 minutes.
The fair provided 4 days of fun, free admission, and food. For the first time since 2019, COVID was not a concern for organizers. According to fair management, this year's event gathered larger crowds than the last two, but exact numbers still have to be totaled.
I just think everybody just loves the fair, so maybe they're more comfortable coming out this year.
Fairgoers were not just from the North Country. Carol Morrow and her husband traveled all the way from Rhode Island. Morrow grew up in Lewis County, but this was her first trip to the fair in nearly 50 years.
We looked it up and it was this weekend. It was perfect. We were like, well, let's go.
How does it compare to half a century ago?
Honestly, all I remember is the taffy. The taffy and the rides, because I was a kid.
And that taffy she was referring to has quite a bit of history behind it. The Freeman family has been making taffy for over a century, and this is their 128th year at the Lewis County Fair.
It's crazy. People come from all over, and family members will ship. So they'll come up, order hundreds of dollars worth of taffy, and they'll ship it all across the country for their family.
Along with taffy, there was plenty of torque on Saturday, as the demolition derby highlighted the weekend. Drivers spent their Saturday seeing who could be the last car standing. Trevor Lawton says it's been a hobby of his since he was 14 years old.
Yep, the first car I ever ran, we had to put like a booster seat in it so I could reach the pedals. First car I ever ran.
Fair officials say Saturday's Demolition Derby marks the fair's unofficial finish, with rides running until the end of the evening. Chad Charette, 7 News.
A more than decade-long tradition continues as the Carthage Rod and Gun Club hosts the 11th annual Shooting Traps for Trips fundraiser. The marksmanship competition aims to raise money for the Volunteer Transportation Center. The VTC provides rides for free for those who may be in need to medical procedures and other appointments. Foundation Director Jeremiah Papineau tells us last year's event managed to raise more than $5,000. The VTC says that the number of contestants have steadily increased each year. They say this year, more than 100 shooters took place in the competition.
Well, this is a great event. Our friends here at the Carthage Rod and Gun Club every year help host this, and it's just an amazing event that raises a lot of money, and we get a lot of great people from the community coming out to have a good time outdoors.
And they get people that don't necessarily shoot trap all the time, so it doesn't matter whether you're a AA shooter or a brand new shooter, you can come here and shoot.
Shooters came from as far away as St. Lawrence County, with prizes being awarded to Top Gun, Junior, Ladies, Veteran, and Team, as well as a handful of other categories. Popping up in Public Square, North Country artists showcased their work in a summer series hosted by the Fibonacci Art Gallery. Saturday's featured artist, Ray Oakes, started carving wooden bowls last November to prepare for a second career after retirement. Oakes uses several different types of wood to create his artwork. He says each one of his pieces is unique and that he does not know what the final product is going to be until he gets the wood on the lathe itself.
You know, this is actually art. You know, it's just a nice piece that you can have to exhibit, and it's something unique. It's not something you're going to find was mass-produced and everybody has it. That's you know, the part of the community I like about it.
Fibonacci Art Gallery is hosting a second pop-up show August 4th. The show will highlight the works of Greg Lago, a North Country artist who recently passed away. Still ahead on 7 News, Troy's luck runs out as the red and black roll at home against the Fighting Irish. Rob Krone has the highlights in your North Country Sports Report. And in the midst of 2 major Hollywood strikes, 2 potential summer blockbusters are hitting the big screen this weekend, with the buzz around the 2 movies starting a craze simply known as Barbenheimer.
From the North Country's news station, you're watching 7 News Tonight with Brendan Straub. Weekend weather with Kris Hudson. And your North Country Sports with Rob Krone.
Summer blockbuster movies Barbie and Oppenheimer are squaring off in theaters this weekend. This comes as struggling movie theater owners need a big hit to help recover from pandemic losses and continuing Hollywood strikes. CBS's Michael George reports from New York.
I bought my tickets months ago.
Americans are back at the theaters, many dressed in pink, lining up to see 2 films with no connection.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Ken.
The bright pink comedy Barbie.
Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie.
Didn't need a charge.
And the dark historical drama Oppenheimer. Moviegoers are leaning into the wildly different tones. Some 200,000 people bought advance tickets to see both movies on the same day, according to the National Association of Theater Owners.
We saw Barbie at 3, and then we're doing Oppenheimer at 6, so it's like a full day thing.
But the industry is in dire straits. Ticket sales haven't fully recovered from the pandemic, down 20% since 2019. And summer sequels like Indiana Jones and Mission Impossible are no longer attracting audiences the way they used to. Both fell short of expectations. And complicating any recovery, Hollywood screenwriters are on strike for a 3rd month, joined on the picket line by the Screen Actors Guild 8 days ago. Tens of thousands are out of work. Production on new films halted.
Movies don't write themselves. You have to have actors in front of the camera. So this is going to be very important that this gets resolved. The sooner, the better.
So while the Barbie and Oppenheimer bump is keeping movie theaters alive, the big question is, what's next? With no big summer blockbusters on the horizon and actors potentially unable to promote upcoming films if the strike stretches on. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
So, Kris, is this going to be a good weekend to go spend the whole day in the theater? What can we expect?
It's going to be a good weekend to be outside because it's going to be really nice and sunny tomorrow, but we do have a little bit of rain in the forecast, so details on that coming up next.
Now, tonight's weather.
Well, it's a nice night out there, and it was a beautiful day for us today. The humidity was low, temperatures right around where they should be for this time of the year, and we didn't see any rain either. As far as here in downtown Watertown, though, you can see still keeping it nice and calm and quiet out there. Current temperature, 66 degrees. So yeah, it's a nice night out there. Lows will be dropping down into the lower 60s, some of us dropping down into the upper 50s, so not as chilly as it was last night. In fact, last night we did drop to 54 degrees, so yeah, it was a chilly one early this morning, and 79 was our high. We're going to be right around 79, the lower 80s tomorrow for our highs, but temperatures out there right now, really nice. 57 degrees for you in Messina, 61 for Canton, 57, Wanakina, 60 degrees for Lowville, and 64 for you in Barnes Corner. So temperatures already dropping down into the 50s for some locations, and that's the way that it's going to be going as we go through the rest of the overnight hours. And then tomorrow, like I said, we're going to be getting up into the upper 70s, close to 80, but look at this, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, yeah. No rain is expected for us on our Sunday. It's going to be a dry day for most locations. I do think that there is a slight chance for a rain shower for some. So when and where is that going to happen? Well, towards tomorrow morning, we are keeping it mainly clear. Maybe a couple clouds moving through. I think it's a pretty much mostly sunny to completely sunny day for us on Sunday. If you're in St. Lawrence County, that's where I'm watching for a rain shower or two, primarily in the afternoon, forming along the lake breeze that we have that sets up. And then that's where we could see the rain. If you're in Jefferson County or Lewis County, I think we're dry tomorrow. St. Lawrence County, about a 10 to 20% chance of a shower or two in the afternoon, and it's not going to be much of a shower at all. And then as we go towards Monday, looks like Monday will be a nice day as well. A little bit more rain in the forecast by the time we get into Monday afternoon. But how are dew points doing? It was a nice day today as far as dew points are concerned. Well, tomorrow and for Monday, it's going to be mainly comfortable. As we get towards the middle of the week, they start rising into the humid and very humid category. And typically when you see the jump in the humidity, you typically see a jump in temperatures as well. So how do our highs look as we go throughout this week? Well, getting warmer and warmer. Yeah, by Thursday, we could be up there close to 90 degrees. In fact, I think some locations do hit 90 by time we get towards Thursday. So how does that extended forecast look as far as precipitation chances? Well, keeping it primarily dry tomorrow, except for in St. Lawrence County, about a 10 to 20% chance of a shower or two. Monday, breezy, 30% chance of showers primarily in the afternoon. Few rain showers on Tuesday as well. And then look at Thursday. Yep, 90 degrees, getting warm once again. And then with that warmth comes the humidity. And then after that, we have some rain showers coming into the forecast as well. But you know what? Some of us are still dry, so we still need the rain. So I guess we can't complain too much.
I know, you sound like 90 degrees like it's a bad thing. This is the North Country. 90, I'll take it all year.
My electricity bill does not like 90, I'll put it that way.
I'll give you that one. Neither does my dog at this point. So we'll be right back after this. Your winning weekend numbers for Saturday, the evening daily numbers are 092, and the win for 3769. As the deadline to reach a new contract nears, a potential UPS strike feels as if it's closer than ever. Teamsters are calling for better pay, particularly for part-time workers and safety improvements. Before contract talks were stalled earlier this month, both sides had reached a tentative agreement on several issues, those including installing air conditioning in more trucks and getting rid of a two-tier wage system for drivers who work weekends as well. The Teamsters said Wednesday that they will resume contract negotiations with UPS next week, marking an end to a stalemate that began 2 weeks ago, with both sides walking away from the table, blaming the other side. Members of Teamsters Local 687 held a practice strike Thursday in front of the UPS facility in Watertown. Rob, what are we looking at tonight in sports?
Well, the red and black in action against Troy at the fairgrounds. Did they win? We'll have the answer coming up next.
Now your North Country Sports.
It's time for your Toyota Sports Report. The Watertown Red and Black hosting Troy in a GDFL contest at George Ashcraft Field tonight. Mel Bustler was on the sidelines and has the story.
Red and Black get on the board first. Sean Johnson with a 29-yard strike to Zachary Todd. Watertown goes on top 6-0. Troy has an answer. CJ Tarver connects with Josh Mason. 35-yard pass play. Troy goes on top 7-6. Second quarter, Red and Black defense comes up with an interception. Jalen Duggan doing the honors. Corey Smith takes over. First, a 1-yard power run. And then the 2-point conversion, Red and Black on top 14-7. Then on defense, Smith comes up with the interception and returns it 75 yards for the touchdown as time runs out in the first half. Smith with the championship belt as Watertown leads 21-7 at the half. Third quarter, Sean Johnson to Samaj James. The play covers 40 yards for the touchdown, 28-7 Red and Black. Fourth quarter, Jalen Duggan will separate the receiver from the ball with this hit. Sean Johnson throws for 4 touchdowns. Corey Smith ends up with 2 interceptions for touchdowns. Red and Black go on to beat Troy 41-7.
I'm very proud of everybody on both sides of the ball. Special teams played very well. It was an exciting game. You know, the score might not look like it was, but it was a very exciting game, and I'm very proud of everybody. The coaches called a great game on both sides of the ball. People are listening and doing what we're asking them to do, and hopefully we could just carry this through.
Nothing special, really. I'm just listening to what my coaches tell me to do, listen to my players, and get out there and get it done. I mean, we really just been putting the work in. Listen to what coaches are telling us, and we go out there, we execute.
I'm just proud to be a part of a great team, and our philosophy is just to be humble, hungry, and disciplined. And it gets us through the games and just have fun.
From the Alex Duffy Fairgrounds, Mel Bustler, 7 News Sports.
The Watertown Rapids would drop a pair on the road tonight, falling to Mohawk Valley 8-5 and 6-5. The losses dropped the Rapids record to 13-27 on the year. With a week left in the season and the postseason out of reach, the players are still focused on winning, but also working on getting ready for fall and summer ball when they return to college.
Yeah, obviously the goal is, to put up wins and to compete every night. But the ultimate goal is for these guys to develop their skills, work on things, so they return to their campuses in the fall. They're better ball players than when they arrived in Watertown. And our guys are getting their reps in and doing that, and we've seen growth.
Today, the halfway point of the 20th edition of the Thousand Islands Challenge softball tournament. 83 teams taking part in the 3-day-long event, which has teams from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Canada participating. Teams from U10 to U18 in action, and tournament director Christopher Tahanika says the level of competition is outstanding.
We got kids ranging from 10 and under to 18 and under all over Jefferson County, and the competition is going to be very well. We have college coaches up here looking at people, and the main thing is giving every kid an opportunity. Every kid deserves an opportunity to play the greatest game on dirt. I'm repeating my...
One of the best heavyweight boxers in the 70s and 80s making an appearance just outside the city today. Jerry Cooney in town for the Clubs and Gloves Golf Tournament to benefit the Watertown Boxing Club at Willowbrook Golf Club. Cooney, whose left hook was considered by many as one of the most powerful punches in boxing history, says being able to help out the Watertown Boxing Club is something he jumped at the chance to do.
And they're bringing attention to kids and to trouble and to youth and to raise money and to teach these kids how to box, to protect themselves. And once you learn how to protect yourself, you don't have to fight no more. So, I'm really glad to come up here and get with all the guys, see him hack the ball around today and go get the chance to work with the kids tomorrow. That's a gift.
He's a true champ. And I look forward to having this day with him. And he really is interested with seeing my boxers. So tomorrow we're gonna have a thing at the Elks Club, 9:30 to noon, like a little breakfast with him and stuff. So if anybody wants to come down and see him, come on down. There'll be a fee.
Trivia quickly.
So I don't think Jerry Cooney shot this, but what is the lowest recorded score for a round of golf in a men's major championship?
I'm going to say 60.
62 happened 6 years ago today. Brendan Grace, and wrapped a couple others with Fowler and Shoffley later this year.
All right.
We'll be back in just a moment.